and to tell us a little bit about what China has in mind for Taiwan and what it is doing to translate what it has in mind into real threats. I'm pleased to say we have Mark Stokes with us. He is the executive director of a tremendously important organization, the Project 2049 Institute. Mark?
Thank you, Frank, and appreciate the invitation to come in and speak briefly about one of my favorite topics, and that's Taiwan and U.S. policy, U.S. cross-strait policy. There's so many aspects of the threat that the Chinese Communist Party poses to Taiwan. You addressed, or Captain Fennell addressed, I think in good measure, the military challenges that the Chinese Communist Party and its armed wing, the People's Liberation Army, poses to Taiwan, and not just Taiwan, but by extension also to the United States. There's significant economic challenges faced by people on Taiwan, being posed by the Chinese Communist Party and across the Taiwan Strait. But there's another aspect, and that's the political challenges that people on Taiwan and the United States face. With the inauguration of President Tsai Ing-wen in May of 2016, Taiwan completed its third successful change of government in its history, as well as the first successful change in control in the legislative yuan. The Chinese Communist Party, however, has long sought the political subordination of people on Taiwan under its formula for unification, and that's something known as one country, two systems. Under this so-called one China principle, there's one China, Taiwan is part of China, and the PRC is the sole representative of China in the international community. From Beijing's perspective, the Republic of China, that is the formal constitutionally founded title of Taiwan, ceased to exist in 1949. The PRC, in its view, focuses as the successor state and the sole legal government of a China that includes Taiwan. Now, viewing political legitimacy as a zero-sum game and applying its one China principle internationally, so this zero-sum game is something that's played internationally, including here in Washington, D.C. The Chinese Communist Party seeks the further political isolation of Taiwan and co-management of U.S.-Taiwan relations as a means to counter the democratic elected leadership on terms favorable to Beijing. In general, what I often do is sort of give, for context, make some things to consider and why we need to think long and hard about our cross-strait policy, primarily for three reasons. Number one, objective reality. The objective reality is that Taiwan, under its current Republic of China constitution, exists as an independent sovereign state. This is objective reality. It's important to understand the difference between this objective reality and policy. And there is something different. Just because we shifted diplomatic recognition from one side to the other in 1979 doesn't negate the legitimacy and the existence of the ROC. But imagine, looking at this from a perspective, imagine our U.S. one China policy as being somewhat of a zero-sum game, and that's the way it's often conceived. You only have normal relations with one side of the Taiwan Strait or the other. And before 1979, we had formal diplomatic relations with the ROC. After 1979, with the PRC. This zero-sum game, it's odd because since 1979, in effect, if you look at this zero-sum as being somewhat of legitimacy, Beijing certainly views it as a zero-sum game. We extend legitimacy in the form of official diplomatic relations with an autocratic regime, the Chinese Communist Party, and we withhold at least equal legitimacy from a country that has evolved into a vibrant democracy. And every single day, and this particular zero-sum game is played out every day in our policy. I could go on, but I think I will leave it here, and back to you.